You're listening to the Talking Shrimpers podcast, sponsored by Surgical Holdings.
Welcome to TSP. I'm your host, Sensei Phil. It's great to be back after a short break. Not great to be back for back-to-back defeats, I have to say. Eastleigh and Scunthorpe reaction coming up. Let's first of all check in with our co-hosts. It's just Finn and Emily tonight. Let's start with Finn. You've had a terrible weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good few days, actually. Obviously, I went to the Southend game, which was probably the worst of my few days. But for those who don't know, I was at Oasis last night watching them at Wembley. So, yeah, I've had a good day. No, you can probably hear my voice is still a little bit gone. So I'll probably sound a bit weird this podcast, but I was singing a little bit last night, I must admit.
So who else was at the gig? Because I heard that there was another artist.
Yes. So Richard Ashcroft from the Verve. To be honest, I was saying this before the podcast. I think the Verve and Oasis are kind of like on a par for me personally, how much I like them. So it was quite special to see both of them in one night. You'll really get many better supporting acts than the Verve.
Yeah, a Bittersweet Symphony, one of my favourite songs.
Yeah.
It's in my head now. I can't get rid of it. Oh, but I bet it's in your head as well. Brilliant, amazing. Very lucky man. Very lucky man. That's all I can say. Yeah, I was saying to you, I've actually met Noel Gallagher. We'll save it for football memories, actually, because it was at Wembley at a match. So we'll save that. Maybe we'll chuck that in later. Emily, how's your couple of weeks been? Any exciting stuff like?
Unfortunately not. I know a few people that would have been so jealous. I definitely was jealous of you yesterday. I tried so hard to get those tickets, but wasn't to be. But yeah, not a lot really. Just been at work and going to watch the ladies play. So yeah, been all good.
Good. Well, you can win a copy of the book Roots and all you've got to do is listen to the podcast today and see how many songs you can pick up on from Oasis. There are a number of song titles in our podcast. These guys are going to play along as well. So just give me your answer on X, Insta or TikTok. We'll sort that out later and we will pick a winner.
To be fair, Phil,
that's that.
I don't know if you meant to do this, but you already did a Verve song, didn't you, earlier? Lucky Man. I don't know if you meant to do that.
I said Oasis though, so that doesn't count.
Okay, that's all right.
They don't count. I didn't even notice that actually. So it's not been a good couple of weeks for me. As many people are aware, I had a bit of a spell in hospital. Not been too good. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but yeah, I'm being monitored. Things are not great still, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. It's great to be back doing something. Life changed a little bit. I can't, do everything that I could do before, but that's life. Could be worse. Could be a Southend fan. Oh, hang on, I am. No, listen, really thankful to Rochdale last week for postponing the game, for putting the worst covers possible on their pitch to protect it from the rain because it didn't work. So I'm thankful for them for postponing the game, obviously, which gave me a bit of extra respite according to doctor's orders. And I've learned the importance of being idle. So, it's don't like it. I don't like it. Anyway, FA Cup draw was today. I don't know if you saw it. We've got Folkestone Invicta at home. We've got a home draw in October. I don't know much about them or Folkestone. All I know is that you can cross the channel at Folkestone and a lot of people retire there. That's about as much of my knowledge. But don't know about you, Finn, being a Kent boy. Far from you?
A lot of my friends go to Folkestone games and stuff. So
I've had really?
quite a few messages. Yeah, because I live like Ashford, in Ashford, so it's really close to Folkestone. In fact, my mum was actually born in Folkestone, and my mum and dad met in Folkestone. So
wow,
I have a bit of a connection to Folkestone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know too much about their team. I know that they're on a really good run of form. They've won, at least 5 in a row. I think it might be even 6 or 7.
Wow.
They're unbeaten this season. They've scored about
20 I saw that.
From about 8 games. So they're on really, really good form. They've got an ex-Southend player. Joe Pigott.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, he'll be returning. But yeah, I think, to be honest, it'll be a very it's going to be a bit of a tough test, I think. Even though there are a few leagues below, I think it's going to be tricky because you never like to play a team like that who are
No,
right up
I remember
for it.
Sitting Bull last season.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that. And I'm not looking forward to it too much, but we'll be positive.
Yeah, I mean, they're second in the Isthmian Premier League. Like you say, they've not lost a game. They score goals for fun. Joe Pigott, I'm sure he'll get a great reception back. He deserves to be honest. So, yeah. Don't know if I'm looking forward to that one or not. I'm not sure.
It's one of those ones, isn't it? It could be a bit of a goal.
What do you think, Emily?
I'd like to think so. I think with those couple of years we had, like when we got promoted in League One and we were pushing for the Championship for 1 year, none of that would have been possible without him. What a moment that was at Wembley. Great player on his day, wasn't it? If I was going, I'd be giving him a good reception, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Okay, so let's get some match reaction, shall we? 2 defeats. We're going to dissect it, find out what exactly went on. We will try and be constructive, so don't look back in anger. Let's listen to what Kev had to say following the Scunthorpe game, because I thought this was really interesting.
The right mentality, because if you look like, the mistakes and the second goal then kills you a bit because you're chasing the game, and we have plenty of the ball going forward, but you can't go under like that a little bit if you want.
It's a quick turnaround to try and put it right on Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and some honest conversations with people, because we've got a decent squad, but you've got to have the right mentality to play for this football club. You're lucky enough to get to play in front of 8,000 people, but if you can't handle it, then you shouldn't be here, and we'll have them on this conversation if we have to. But we've got to pick ourselves up. We've got a game Tuesday, and they've got to pick themselves up, the players. And we'll organise a team to go respond, which we should do.
Yeah, really strong words. I don't know if you heard that interview. I heard that just before, but yeah, very strong words. I don't know who he's particularly talking about, players wise. But we will pick it to bones. I spoke to Pip yesterday, otherwise known as Diversity, and then we've also got Charlie's views, and then we're gonna discuss further. So this is what Pip had to say. Right, with me is Pip from Diversity Channel. Welcome to your Talking Shrimpers debut. I'd like to say you've come on at a great time of the season, but it's miserable, mate, isn't it?
It's been a long week, ain't it, Phil? Thank you for having me on today. But yeah, like you said, we could have picked a better week. We've had many other weeks to do this, but we thought let's do this week. It's a nice, easy weekend. Like you said, it's been absolutely horrible, to put it politely, absolutely dire. But hey, the joys of being media content creators in this world, you have to cover the good, the bad, the ugly. And this week, unfortunately, it really is the ugly.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So we're going to have a look at, obviously we've got, as I said, back-to-back defeats, Eastleigh and yesterday against Scunthorpe. I've since last night, I've been looking at social media. I shouldn't really, because it is so miserable. But yeah, the reaction from the fans are obviously not happy. I guess we can tie both games into one. Eastleigh, actually, I did predict a 2-1 defeat.
Wow.
So I feel like it's my fault, kind of.
Oh, wow. Well,
yeah,
there we go then. That's
there. I just feel with Nor missing that middle, we've kind of lost our way a little bit. I think we're struggling up front, excluding Dallas, with Kendall out. I don't think Kev's quite sure what his best front two is. And I just saw a banana skin, but I did expect a reaction against Scunthorpe, and we just didn't get it, did we?
No, it was arguable. You had two different styles of play in Eastleigh and Scunthorpe. Eastleigh being the team to sit back, Scunthorpe being the more open, dynamic pressing team. So Kev had a tricky week on that aspect of playing two different strategies, and both, dare I say, failed almost miserably. Maybe the first half of Scunthorpe revived that performance against Eastleigh a little bit, but bar that, no, it was really poor otherwise. Eastleigh obviously set up with a low block, hard to break down, like you said. The front two, being Walker and Dallas, just didn't combine too great. After 20 minutes, Eastleigh singled out Dallas, and that left Walker to do all the hard work, which, as we've seen in the past, maybe isn't his forte. Then Kev changes it up, going to Scunthorpe. You have Hopper up top, and I'd say a lot of the fan base is widely against that decision of starting Hopper, which is a bit 50-50 with me personally. You know, he's a Southend player. We should back him all the way, start to finish. And then for him to come off and be cheered at and even booed by a few was a bit hard to take at times. But you're a striker. If your goal ratio isn't as great as others, you're going to maybe start having that pressure on you. But like we said, it's been a horrible week on the whole. And Borehamwood, which we'll come on to, is a really big game. And dare I say, not huge. We're only 13 games in, so no game is huge in terms of the season. But I think huge is in how we go forward in this month and how we proceed. Because, like you said, it's been very tricky for Kev all round.
Yeah. So looking at that Eastleigh game, we'll quickly look at the goals. First one, I mean, you were there. You probably saw it a lot better. To me, it looked like Colin should have really not got beaten at his near post. But I think in the build up to that, we weren't closing players down. It was just one of those typical disappointing goals to let in.
Yeah, no, I agree heavily. Again, Colin at the near post, that's arguable. You could say he should be covering that, or is Blair going to shoot it across him in the far corner? So for Colin's aspect, it is a bit disappointing. But I think there's 10 players in front of Colin that could have stopped that play coming through. And the midfield, especially against Eastleigh, just dropped off immensely. There was no Keenan really tracking back. Miley got beaten, and then it was down to Ralph and Goodliff to mark their two pacey forwards, which are even on their best days, they're not going to keep up with them. And it's a good finish, let's be honest, from the Eastleigh guy. Lots of power, straight for it. Kind of like what we're hoping for as Southend supporters, just someone to put their laces through it and just go bang into the corner of the net and take that. And then it really set the tone. And then we woke up. Dare I say, we woke up after that going, right, we've got to go score at the other end. And Dallas, as always, saves our bacon a little bit.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Oh, amazing. Fox in the box. Without him, I don't know where we'd be up top, honestly.
I was saying that yesterday.
If Barnsley recall him anytime soon, I really do think we're in bother. I really fear for our forward line going forward. But no, he's a tactical, really smart individual player. Knows where to be, that Fox in the box. And he got the goal. Brilliant. That's what you need. We're back in the game. We put the pressure on Eastleigh for 10 minutes and then up the other end, bang. Colin, again, arguably another iffy. Could he be stronger? Could he claim it a bit stronger? Yes, I really do think so. And everyone else is so slow to react to the ball. The ball drops. Everyone's just staring like, oh, are you going to get it? Are you going to get it? No one does. And it's an easy finish for their number 8. Just slams it in the net again, laces through it. Goal for them. And that just really, it set the tone for the night, I felt, or set the tone, especially for the final 10 minutes, just to go, their players are not afraid to smash a ball in a net. They're not afraid to have a dig from outside the box. Where's our like non-feared hitting the ball from outside the box? If it goes in the rose head, do you know what? Fine. We live with it. We move on. Let's have another chance. But there was none of that. It was always to the side, try and find another player, which can work. Let's not get it wrong. Possession is part of the football world. But it doesn't win you games all the time, especially against teams like Eastleigh, who are going to sit back and just hold out and grind out. And they did that superbly. And I credited them on the night. They deserved the credit. They won with no gaffer in charge. And fair play to them. We were awful. We were absolutely awful.
I mean, that second goal, we said beginning of the season, defensively, we looked superb. It looked like a real foundation for us to really challenge this season, but we've kind of collapsed there a bit. It was very similar to I think it was the Wealdstone game, when Colin let a clanger in. There seemed to me like there was a miscommunication between him and Goodliff. Same again. Is he not calling for that ball? The others just not listening to him. It was just a mess. And then the guys obviously just tapping. What's gone wrong at the back?
It's so hard to pinpoint exactly what has gone wrong, because you look at the end of last season, how strong the defence was. And okay, yes, we didn't have Colin. We had Nick Hayes in goal for a good period of time, but we looked really good. And, Colin was the most, in the top clean sheets of the season last season. And he was injured since January and he kept in the top 5. I can't pinpoint to you exactly where it's going wrong, apart from maybe teams are just sussing us out too easy. They know, right, when we have the ball, we're going to roll it out and we're going to play that way. Right at the back, we know we're going to back off. So other teams just know to put a pacey striker up top to charge at us. What we've been missing, and dare I say, going forwards in attack for us, that's what we've been missing, is someone just to run at players, just to take someone on one-on-one and get a ball in, or just try and work something. But in terms of Colin and defence, it's hard because it's the same defence as last season in Taylor, Goodliff and Ralph. All strong characters, all strong leaders at the back especially to protect Colin. And it's, like I said, it's hard. It's so hard just to say, right, it's down to you, it's down to you. As a collective, I think it falls on them all. And Kev said it yesterday, we win as a team, we lose as a team. And I think that is the best way to say it. They lose as a team, and maybe it's just confidence in the last few years. We have shipped, I think, more goals in the last sort of 4 or 5 than I think we did for a 10-game period last season. It's quite worrying in that aspect. And from Kev's aspect, you can say, we lost Noor, kind of the engine room that protected the defence, and Miley's come in. He's a shadow of his former self, I feel. Since, a lot of people say since the injury, he's not been the same player. I agree. It's just maybe it's a step too far for him now. Maybe that injury has caused something a bit longer term there. But in terms of going forward defensively and leaking goals, it's something that needs to be addressed urgently, because Borehamwood come Tuesday night will exploit that, and they will rip us apart with Shrimp and Matt Rush up top.
So I thought yesterday against Scunthorpe, first half it was pretty even Stevens. You know, we had a few chances. Again, we can't fault Colin. I think yesterday for the goals, he certainly saved us from a third one. You know, brilliantly by standing up. The first one, for me, Boys has got to do better. He's just whacked it into, you know, danger area. Fair play to the fella that's picked it up and smashed it in. Great finish.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, 9 times out of 10, that probably goes over the stand. But yeah, straight into the net. But from our point of view, it's just a silly goal to give away. And then the second one, again, you said it's a collective, and that certainly was a defensive collective error. Win just falls over. They just walk through us and just pick us apart. So two very soft goals, I thought, to give away. And then, you know, we're then trying to get back into the game, aren't we? You know, they're just putting everyone behind the ball.
Yeah,
we're overhitting crosses. We just didn't look like we were going to get a goal back, let alone 2.
No, not at all.
Disappointing.
Disappointing, yeah, and that sums it up. But I will give credit. Their 2 centre-backs, they were immense all game, I felt. Anything you threw at them in the air, on the floor, to the chest height, they were there. They knew what to do exactly, and they were well-drilled, Scunthorpe, and that is a dark horse team going into this season. They're proving it
They've
well.
not lost a game yet, actually.
No, 5 wins or 6 wins now and 4 draws off the top of my head. It's impressive. It's so impressive for a team that just got promoted to be up and around that playoff mix. But no, we didn't have it at all. Yes, like I said, a good first 45, and then the calamity of the goals. The second one, I think, was the worst one. And then you said Colin was prevented a third. I think he prevented even a 4th, 5th even. It could have been embarrassing come the end of that game. But I think, like we said, going into Borehamwood, we need just to change up. We've played the same formation now for these 2 games, and dare I say, we've been embarrassed on both occasions. Maybe it's just time to switch up. We know last season we switched to a 4 at the back and went a bit more direct that way. Maybe it's time just to play that card on the table and just go, right, boys, Tuesday night, we're doing this, and we're going to change it up a little bit. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't work, it falls on me. But it needs something, definitely. It needs just something fresh, something just to get the fans back on their feet instead of being all gloomy and loomy. Just something to go, right, let's be exciting today. Let's be direct. If we ship a goal, fine. Let's go get one back. If we score more than them, we win the game.
Right, we're going to get some more reaction from the other guys. Don't go away, Pip. We're going to come back and we're going to talk Borehamwood next game, which is a massive game now. We need to really get some points on the board again. So, don't go away. Yeah, interesting words from Pip. And we've also got Charlie. Charlie's gone off to sun himself. I think it's Lanzarote, he said. Can't remember. Can you remember, guys?
I think it's in Lanzarote,
yeah, lucky thing. But he did leave his views. So I'm just going to play that.
Hiya, guys. So, where do we start? Another disappointing result over the weekend, losing at home to Scunthorpe. Obviously, it comes off of the back of another loss midweek to Eastleigh, which I think is the disappointing thing. Because I think on Saturday we're looking for a response from midweek's game, which in all honesty was an extremely poor result and performance. And to follow it up with Saturday's performance, it's it asks a lot of questions at the moment. I think at the moment, with Gus, Noor, and Charlie Kendall looking like they're out for a period of time, that is really like the spine of our, or the backbone of our squad, or starting 11. And I think it's no surprise that whilst they're out of the squad, we are struggling. Now, against Scunthorpe, we started off relatively strong. We was on the front foot. We put it to them, created a couple of good opportunities. But after that sort of opening 10 minutes, Scunthorpe sort of grew into the game. They had a couple of good chances hitting the post. And I just felt that we needed to mix it up a little bit. They were quite a big, strong, physical side. I mean, their centre-halves were two real lumps up the back. Yet we're throwing in crosses and trying to get the ball into the box. And I appreciate, we're getting the balls into the box and we're, dominating possession. But my frustration at the moment's that we're not doing a huge amount with it. The crosses that came in at the weekend were quite poor, really, and quite easy, I would say, for Scunthorpe to manage. The centre halves were cleaning up everything. The goalkeeper, he was just plucking them out the air. And we didn't really have anything, no sort of plan B, really, to break them down. Dallas, I thought he worked his socks off up top. However, I was finding that he was coming deeper and deeper to try and get the ball to make something happen when really you want him to be turning that last man, making those runs. But I just don't see him and Hopper sort of working really as our partnership. I feel Hopper, I appreciate his work rate and stuff, but ultimately he's a striker and you get judged on your goals. And at the minute, he's not really providing a huge amount of threat going forward, I think is fair to say. Now, obviously, we've got Charlie, who is off on leave, on injury at the moment. Hopefully, that's going to be something short term as opposed to long term. But I think it's still going to be a few weeks before we see him back, which sort of leaves it down to Walker and Slavy. Obviously, Slavy's new to this level. He's still trying to get to grips with the speed of the game, and I think we can't rely on him to be our saviour, if you like, for goals and expect him to come in and bang a load in. And Walker, he's just a little bit sort of inconsistent at the moment. He's just a bit hit and miss. You don't know what you're going to get from day to day. Whether that's a confidence thing, if he's got an injury, I don't know. But at the moment, it seems to be a lot of pressure on Dallas to get us the goals. And if he's not able to provide, then you look around the team and you sort of struggle on where the goals are going to come from. Now, I think there's a lot of talk, obviously, regarding Jack Stone. Now, I'm not saying that we should be signing Jack Stone and he's going to be the player for us to get us out of this league and stuff. But I just find it a bit odd that we've got a player that scored 40-odd goals last season, 10-plus assists. He's played at sort of competitive men's football now whilst he's been on loan last season. And I just feel that we've got someone there. Yes, I appreciate that the level he's playing is at youth level and stuff, and this is a big jump up. But I think whilst we can, why isn't he getting a couple of minutes here, the odd appearance here and there, just to see how, he may give us something different, a bit of young energy, and, he's got a point to prove as well. He'll have a bit between his teeth. So be interesting to find out, the situation with Jack Stone as to what's going on with him, if there is a plan for him to join, or if that is dead in the water, which will be a real real missed opportunity, I feel. But I think failing that, then Kev alluded to it at the post-match interview that, potentially, some harsh words are going to be said to players. Players need to sort of step up to the mark. And you look at Scunthorpe, these teams that we need to be competing against, and especially at home, taking some points off of them. I thought Scunthorpe were really good. They did a proper job. They were, really strong. And they were really clinical, taking nothing away. Their first goal, it was a hell of a strike. But it sort of comes from poor defending. The ball's cleared and it sort of flung up straight back sort of into the edge of our box. He does well to get it down and hits that shot first time. And yeah, it was a great shot, but it potentially could have been avoided. And as for the second goal, it's just a ball that, they pick up on the halfway line, I think, following one of our throws. I think Wynn trips, leaves his man to run freely into the box. They play a ball out wide, straight across into 6 yard. He's got a tap in. And it was just all real quick, fluent movement, which I think is something that Southend don't necessarily have either. Too many times we pick up the ball where we look like we can break on and push, yet we sort of put our foot on the ball too many times, slow the game right down, make the extra pass when you just want to turn that ball over quicker. And I think that's when we play our best, is when we're, on the front foot. We did it for the opening 10 minutes and you could see we create opportunities, but we can't seem to do that throughout the game. And I think that's a big problem, especially when we are trying to attack and push on. So Kev's, got some real decisions to make. We've got a couple of real tough games, Borehamwood in the week, so it'd be interesting to see what's if he mixes the formation up, if he changes personnel. But I think there's got to be some reaction, and it's not worrying times. I think in looking at the silver lining in all of this, it's better to have this sort of blip at the beginning of the season in September as opposed to near the end of the season. We've got plenty of time to work through it, get into the loan market if we need to try and reinforce and strengthen. But ultimately, I think the upsetting thing, or the sad thing, is it's just how easy teams are able to play through us. But I'm sure Kev will work on that. The team will discuss that over the weekend and the coming days. And let's hope that was just a blip. Those 2 games are done. That's it. We're over, forgotten about. We can only look on forward to the next couple of games now. So fingers crossed for a win in the week, and up the Blues.
Yeah, so quite a few interesting points raised by Pip and Charlie. Lots to dissect, guys, lots to dissect. It's been said a lot on social media about Kev's tactics and, the players' current form. Who needs to step up? Certainly results always fall on the manager's feet, and he's always going to be the first one to be judged. That's natural. But Kev will certainly be saying to Kozu, stand by me. Emily, Kev tactics, or is it the players, or is it both?
To be honest, I was kind of expecting a bit of a lull in performances. I think since Nor got injured, I did think that we were going to take a while to find our feet, because he is such a pivotal player for us. But I think players like Colin, I thought, it's question marks over his head now. Is he the right keeper to take us up? Is he the right keeper to take us forward? I think we've conceded a lot of goals over the last few games that probably we shouldn't be, especially getting beaten in near posts and things like that. If we want to progress and go up in the leagues, I just think our question marks starting to come over certain players and their position in the team. Is there competition to be had? I think there probably is.
Let's just get rid of Charlie. There we go. Did you notice anything different about Charlie, actually? I was going to say, his goat is gone. I was looking, thinking, what's different? His goat is gone. Obviously, for his holiday. But yeah, Emily, you've mentioned it. A lot of individual errors. Question marks over Colin. I think there's question marks all over the team at the moment. As Kev said in his interview, some conversations maybe had to have with players. He didn't obviously name anyone. He's not going to do that. But things are not all well, are they? Losing 3 key players, I think, is going to disrupt. Obviously, losing Charlie, losing Nor, who is out for the season pretty much, as we said, and losing Gus, who I think may be back tomorrow. I'm not too sure. I heard that. I don't know how true that is. But that's got to play a key part, hasn't it, Emily?
Yeah, I think losing Gus as well, I think he's been so key for us, especially making goals, defending well, keeping that back line in check. I think losing him, you've almost lost a key player in every single bank. You've lost Gus in the back line, you've lost Nora in midfield, and I think it's only just carries through the teams. I think people need to start stepping up, finding new leaders within the team. Now, I've lost those two. And yeah, I think this is, as was said earlier, it's not going to make or break our season, but we obviously don't want to get stuck in a rut where we give ourselves work to do. We're going to have to be competing against teams like Scunthorpe if you want to go up. And we looked miles off it when we played them. So different people are going to have to start stepping up, I think.
So obviously it's not just on the striking department, but I do want to focus on the striking department because I've got a few concerns there. Finn, I think personally we need to plan for life without Dallas in January because we're naive if we don't. You know, bearing in mind what happened before with Cardwell and Kensdale, that hit us big time. It was unexpected. And, you know, wasn't it Stan Collymore that said, you know, you should have 2 to 3 players backing up for every position out there that you're going to recruit the possibility of. That's business. That's progression planning.
Yeah.
That's sensible. You know, and I'm just worried that if Dallas is recalled, how big a miss that is going to be because, you know, Charlie is a bit up and down with injuries, sadly. There's big question marks over Hopper and Walker, and you know, just looking at Andrew Dallas' record with Barnsley, he's not a player I don't think that they're going to call upon. So I think he's a player that they're looking to move on at some point, and obviously they're going to want to get the best value out of him. So if he's in a side that's not doing so well, they're going to recall him and send him to somewhere that is going to keep his value up. I don't know what are your thoughts there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Yeah, obviously, if he's in a side that aren't performing, that he could think about recalling him. I think where he kind of differs to like a Ben Peppel, who was called back midway through the season. I think with Ben Peppel, Luton were focusing on his development as a player, and you know trying to develop him because he was still young and a player that you know I know he's gone to Plymouth now, but a player that I believe they were trying to get to be one of their players. And I think where it kind of differs with Dallas is, I could be wrong, but for me, he's a little bit older. And I think I don't see Barnsley really using him in their first team. I mean, he's been there for quite a while now and not really broken in, had quite a few loans, etc. Yeah, and I just think when you're loaning out a player that much, I think maybe it's time that they might start thinking about selling him to a club. So I think, yeah, if he loves it here and we as fans love him and the club love him, then I think they'd be silly to break that. But yeah, as you say, it's football and you never know what can happen. And I do think you can't really base your entire strike force off of a lone player because it is, as you said, it is risky. But I also think utilising loans is a good move. So it's kind of, I'm a little bit in two minds about it, to be honest, because on one hand, you've got a really, really good player who value for money. If you're loaning him in, it's fantastic, really. But then I get the risk. But yeah, so it's a bit of a difficult one, really.
But if you look at the last couple of years, the loans we have had in, I think we've done better with them than without them. You know, there haven't been many failures from that. Moncur, you could argue, but I think for the most part, you know, even Moncur at the start, we had high hopes for him, and he showed promise for a couple of games and then burned out. But I think for the most part, our loans have been pretty decent, and it just worries me that, as I say, if he gets recalled. He's a player that is going to score goals for us. He looks as quality above, but you know there might be a point if we are continuing to struggle, he'll get fed up with it because you know his agent. We forget that it's not just the clubs. Sometimes the agents interfere and say, "Well, you know, this is actually damaging the player's reputation. We need to get him to a club where you know they're doing well, so that his value is going up." For them. So it is a tricky situation. So if you look at it, I was looking at the January games. If suddenly he was recording January, I think if we've just got Hopper and Walker and we're relying on Charlie to be fit all the time, we are a bit bang in trouble. Looking at the games, we've got January. So if that happened, we've got Rochdale, we've got York. They're two clubs that are going to be fighting for that playoff place. So yeah, tricky games. I wanted to actually look at the because let's be honest, we are not going to win the title this year. That's not going to happen. Even the most optimistic fan must be nuts to think that is going to happen. I think we've got to be realistic. It's going to be Forest Green or York, I would imagine. Whichever one of those doesn't win it, the other one is going to take a playoff place. Then I think you've got Rochdale are going to be in there. I think Carlisle will be in there. And I think actually Scunthorpe are going to be in there. They did, look very strong. They've not lost a game yet, don't forget. They're a strong side. So that leaves two clubs left in those playoff places. Boreham, will they stay there? They've had a great start. I'm not sure. I think Halifax will be there or thereabouts. They're not going to struggle forever. Hartlepool's another one who's always lingered around there. So it's really between Boreham, Hartlepool, Halifax and ourselves. Below that, I can't see anyone else breaking into that. But yeah, so really we've got to be winning those games and looking at it. January, yeah, Rochdale, and we've got York. We've also got to see Boston away, which last year was a real disaster. We won't relish going there. And then going into February, you've got Boreham and you've also got Scunthorpe. So those big games are going to come thick and fast around that period. So January could be a key for us. So listen, if we can go out and sign him outright, Dallas, I don't know what position the club is in to do that. We would all love that, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's enough. I think I still think we have a striker.
One thing I will say to that, Phil, is I think obviously it is a risk with the loans, but I think if you look at a lot of other clubs rely quite heavily on the loans as well. So it's almost like we're in the same position as quite a few others. Maybe not towards the top, but if you look at like Borehamwood, for example, one of their best players in the last 5 or 6 games is on loan from West Ham. A goalkeeper, we're going to talk about him more later, I'm sure, but Finn Herrick, who's kept, I think, 3 clean sheets or something, and he won the Golden Glove.
He's very good.
Yeah, too. So, it just goes to show like that. We are utilising a loan in Andrew Dallas, but a lot of other clubs are kind of in that position as well. And come January, they might be struggling a little bit. Let's say West Ham call back Finn Herrick. I don't know if they will or not, but so yeah, I will just say like it is a bit of a risk, but I guess a lot of other clubs you kind of have to take the risk of this financially.
I just hope we don't slide away, come January, if he's recalled and we haven't got a backup plan. I'm sure we have. But I don't know. Some might say bring back Macaulay Bonne. Funny thing is, he's not actually played for another club since he's left us. Yeah, he wasn't a regular goal scorer. I think there were a lot of fans were 50-50 on him, weren't there? I think towards the end of his time with us, he scored a few, but I think he was a pivotal player in that playoff push. He was definitely instrumental. Personally, I think he's better than Walker and Hopper. Emily, what are your thoughts on Macaulay Bonne?
I think we've got to start looking to people like that if people that we are trying to start and players we are trying to start are not stepping up. I think that's why we have this squad depth to try and rotate when things aren't working. We're obviously off the bounce of 2 pretty poor performances. People aren't performing, stepping up, then we've got to look to our bench saying, where can we change it? Like Kev said in his interview there, people aren't willing to step up and play for this football club like the fans demand, then in my eyes, they don't deserve to be playing and starting. So that's why I think it's important that we do utilise that squad rotation and give him the run of games that he deserves, really, to try and get off the mark and make a name for himself and start in 11.
Yeah. Charlie mentioned Jack Stone. Now, I was going to bring him up because, we've had a lot of response on social media about Jack Stone, what's happening with him. And it's natural that when the strikers are not, putting the goals away, they're looking at a player here who last year, I'm just going to read his end of season Twitter. That's a wrap for the 24-25. Successful season with plenty of highs, 42 goals, 10 assists, Youth Team Player of the Year, top goal scorer for SUFC Youth. Let's see what happens next. Well, it would appear nothing's happened next. No one seems to know what's happening with him. Now, I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying he's going to come in because it is a big difference in the levels he's playing at. You know, he's playing, with all due respect, college kids in some of those games where he scored those goals. But certainly he's a prospect. And, you know, when was the last time we had a prospect come through? I think we've had, you know, Bridgie, obviously, Colin, and I think Hoax was the last one. We've not had one really who's come in and established for a while. But Jack Stone, what's happening? He could be a player that we could have on the bench that can come on for the last 10, 15 minutes here and there. You never know. He's got to start his career somewhere. What are your thoughts on him, Finn?
Yeah, I think Jack Stone is one that I speak to him a fair bit as well, and it's just a shame to see that to see what's happened really. And if I'm completely honest, brutally honest, I think it's I don't think it sets very good. Obviously, we don't know all the details of what's happened, etc. But just on the outside perspective, it doesn't set a very good example, I don't think, if that's the right word, for the youth players. If you know you can get 52 goal involvements in a season and not actually guarantee anything out of it, which I think is, and it is a shame. And when you look at our kind of striker situation, I know we've got one and two, well, two good strikers there, definitely good strikers in Kendall and Dallas. When you think Kendall's out injured, Dallas is on loan, there's definitely an opportunity for him to get in there and get involved, even if it's on the bench or you know in a cup game upcoming against Folkestone Invicta, give him a chance there. Yeah, I just think it's a shame, and I'm definitely in the camp that he should be given a go.
Yeah, I hope they do sort out if it's a contract thing. I don't know the ins and outs of it, like you said, but let's hope they can sort something out. And yeah, that for me would be the perfect opportunity for him. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, that is the end of the reaction first half. Coming up in the halftime show, we'll review the ladies against Stanway Pegasus. We've got teammates with George Wind, and we'll throw in that Oasis football memory, shall we? Don't go away.
This is the halftime show in memory of John Gorrell.
So we've got a few things just to tell you about before we go into that stuff. CEO Fans Forum on Tuesday the 14th of October at the Civic Centre. I believe that's a ticket-only event. That could be interesting. Worries me that the fans will go let it out. We'll just see. Hopefully it'll be a nice, respectful event, and we'll find out what's going on, because obviously there's a lot going on behind the closed doors for the club. And it'd be great to find out what's going on. And Super organisation for ex-players are putting on a night for Steve Tilson. This is Your Life. That's on Saturday the 25th of October, 7:30 p.m. There's tickets for that. We'll put that on so you can see how you can get a ticket for that. Also, listen, Football Contents Award. Shrimpers Trust are up for a nomination. Diversity, Pip, is up for 2 categories. And the club is also up for a nomination for the award. So please get behind them all. Register your vote. Plenty of Southend fans out there to do it. Hopefully we can get these guys. That'd be a great clean sweep of awards. It really, really would. So, yeah, it'd be well deserved. Well deserved. Okay, what have we got next?
The Southend United Ladies with Emily and Chloe.
Okay, no, Chloe, we've got Emily with us. Not a good result in the FA Cup last week. Have you stopped crying your heart out?
Yesterday really helped, put it that way. I think I was saying to April, who's at the club with us, the difference between the men's side and the female side in terms of the FA Cup is so big, and the difference between the leagues is so much bigger than what it is on the men's side. So if you play someone in the league above, this the equivalent of probably 2-3 leagues in the men. So and I think it would be nice to see something like the FA Vars come in for teams that are obviously lower down, because otherwise then results like that happen and it's obviously doesn't look the greatest. But over it now, and yesterday really, really did help with that. So
we obviously had, going back to the FA Cup game, quite a few out, and I saw they were a phenomenal side.
Yeah,
they had some really, really good players.
And I think I said to Apes, even if we'd have had our full strength side, like I know we missed Molly, which is obviously a real key, we probably still would have struggled.
I don't know what you would say to them. I really don't.
Yeah.
The best speaker in the world. What words are you going to say against a team like that?
The girls were in real good spirits, actually. I think in another world, it would have been easy for heads to go down and it potentially to have even been more. But the girls were in good spirits. I think they just enjoyed the second half. I think that was the message at half time, really. Just go out, enjoy your football. There's not really much else you can do. So the girls were, thankfully, didn't let it affect them. And
no, so they showed great character yesterday. Stanway Pegasus, 5-0 win. A hat-trick for Ellie Nichols and 2 for Georgia Wilson. I believe there was also 2 assists for Beth Cooper. What a fantastic response.
I know, and to be honest, I breathed such a big sigh of relief because it just shows what we've been sitting on and how much we needed that result, how much quality we do have. And it's a big, big message to the rest of the league. I looked at the table earlier and I think if we get 2 wins, we're back in top 4 again. So I think, it hasn't been the best start, but girls answered and responded really well yesterday. It's nice to have Ellie and G back in their usual strong self, scoring goals. So hopefully it's a sign of more things to come.
So that's 4 goals now for Ellie this season and 3 for Georgia. So is the answer just keep feeding them?
I've played with G for a few years now, and I don't think I've ever played with a player that's so strong in the air, but also so good with her feet. She's such a good, calm finisher of the ball, and she'll always flick the ball on. And it's nice for them to have each other because they work so well, because they play so differently. And it's also a nice bit of healthy competition for them both to see who can score the most and create the most opportunities. But it's good to have them back in flying form again.
I'm not sure the name. You can probably fill it in for me. But last week, the cup game, there was a young girl up front. She just did not stop running. Unbelievable engine on her.
The name. Did she play? Oh, you didn't go yesterday. I can't think of. Oh, are you thinking of Abby? Maybe. I think she played as a cam yesterday. Her name's Abby Dell, so we call her Adele.
Oh, it was Abby Dell. Yeah. Who scored the other week.
Yeah, she's just an absolute engine. It's so nice to have her. She played a bit deeper yesterday in the 10. But she just run, picked up some loose balls. Yeah, it was nice to finally see it clicking and show the rest of the league what, as I said, we've been sitting on and we haven't gone away.
So we've got, I think next week we've got Hertford Town away, if I'm right. They lost yesterday to Brentwood Town. Sorry. They've lost 4 actually, 1-2.
Yeah.
So it's a chance for us to start creeping up that table. I think they're for the taking. They've let goals in.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in the last couple of seasons, it's always been a tough match for them. They're a really physical side, got some top quality. But again, that result yesterday is going to fill us with so much confidence. The girls and April in such good spirits. I don't think there's a team, if we played like we did yesterday in this league, that we're not going to beat and give them the game. And it will be tough, obviously, going away, bit of a long journey. If we play like we did yesterday, I don't doubt that we're going to put ourselves in a good position to get a result.
Now, obviously, Chelmsford seem to be running away with it. 6 wins from 6, goal difference of 19. We saw them first game and how good they were.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think, the possibility is to get up that table and, get closer to them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. Chelmsford's obviously are flying at the minute, can't stop scoring. So I think the rest of the league below, as I said, there's like probably 6 points between like 10th and maybe 3rd. So one result changes the capacity of the whole league. So, I think loads of games still to be played, lots to be there. And just keep looking forward and getting players like Jean and Ellie in form. Cooper to have loads of good assists, and she played well yesterday. She's obviously been out with an injury, so it's nice to see her back and feeding the 2 up top. So all good things.
So well done, ladies. Let's keep that run going. Good luck, Hertford away on Sunday. Hopefully we can pick up another 3 points. But yeah, well done, ladies. It's not been a great weekend for the guys, so it's nice to get something positive for the club this weekend. So fantastic. So yeah, listen, we will. We talked about Oasis earlier. We will throw in that football memory. Let's find the jingle. Let's do that.
Football memories in it.
Oh, I think I don't know if I mentioned I used to be deputy supervisor at the old Wembley Stadium. So I managed to meet lots of, VIPs and stuff like that. And there was one game, Man City Gillingham, playoff final. That was the time when, way before you guys were around, they didn't have money then, Man City, like they do now.
I was going to say that's a bit of a strange picture.
They were championship level competing. It was Gillingham. Gillingham, I remember they had Andy Hesenthaler. He was a tough player. Comes down to Southend quite a lot, actually. He's, watching in the director's box. I think he's a scout now or chief scout. And Guy Butters as well played for Southend. He was one of their players on the day. But yeah, Man City, they had players like Paul Dickov, I remember. I'm not sure if the GOAT was there, Sean Goat, I can't remember. But listen, what I do remember is my boss on the day said, there's a couple of pop stars. He didn't have a clue. There's a couple of pop stars up here today. I think they're brothers. They're having a bit of a feud. So I want you to keep an eye on one of them. We're going to keep them separate. So it turned out it was Liam and Noel Gallagher. They were having a feud on the day. So Liam was in one of the executive suites. He was being kept there. And Noel was, in the main VIP sort of gallery stand. So I had to keep my eye on Noel. Had a great chat with Noel. Actually, really, really nice guy. Smashed off his head, I have to say. But, he did hold a conversation. And he was all right. I really, really liked him, actually. He was an interesting guy. But yeah, how the game went. Gillingham went 2-0 up, and literally they were just, as teams do, they close it out. It was kind of looked like it was going to end that way. And then sort of 5 minutes from the end, no one had enough. He wanted to leave. So I had to escort him out of the stadium all the way down for the secret passages and, escorted him out, made sure he got out okay. And they were kept separate. So I just let my boss know, yep, he's left the building, you can just sort out the other one. Don't care about him. And then, unbelievably, Man City scored 2 goals in injury time, got back to 2-2. So the match then goes to extra time and pens. Before you know it, Noel's back in the stadium. He's got back into his seat. Obviously, he's got his way in, said, you know who I am, that kind of stuff. And I've looked round and he's like, he's there. I'm like, where's he come from? So, so as it went, Man City then won. They won on penalties. Unbelievable. What a turnaround. Amazing. I love the playoffs. That's amazing. Pardon, Southend's won last year. No, that was all right, but not the result. But yeah, the playoffs were amazing to be there. And what a playoff final that was. And, Noel obviously was enjoying himself. They won. He was happy. But the next day, it was really interesting because it was all in the newspapers. We didn't have social media then. It was in the newspapers. Obviously, a lot of fans saw that he left early and was slagging him off a bit to the press. And, saying that, he's not a true supporter. He left early, blah, 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 blah. And Noel was quoted, and I remember it as saying, I'm a true fan. I'm a true blue through and through. I never left my seat. I was there right to the end. And I thought, no, you didn't, mate, because I escorted you out. So, you liar. So, but brilliant memories. I'm sure there's plenty more playoff stories I've got, but yeah, that was a great one. So I met Noel Gallagher at Wembley. You didn't yesterday, but you saw him and obviously had a great time. Great time.
What Wembley did you prefer for the football, new or old?
Well, I never worked at the new Wembley. I mean, I've been there many, many times since. I could tell you so many problems with the old stadium, so many secrets. It was bad. But listen, I had some amazing memories there. The Euros, I don't know if you saw my interview with Riley where we talked about that. The Euros was absolutely unbelievable. I was very fortunate. I got to a lot of cup finals. I had to escort Cantona down to the tunnel when he was suspended for that karate kick. Huge guy. You look up at him, he's so composing. You know, met many players there. I think the old stadium, just for the memories, meeting people like Cruyff and Eusebio and Pele and George Best, and, you know, I could go on and on. Getting to the cup finals, getting to England games, getting concerts, getting paid for being there. You know, seeing Michael Jackson 3 nights in a row and get paid for it. It's not a bad life, is it really? So I think for the memories, the old stadium, but obviously the new stadium is incredible. Yeah, good times, great times, great times. But that was no Golka. You did leave the stadium. So we have teammates with George Wind. So I'll find it. Have a listen.
So, best and worst dresser. Best, I'll go with Cav Miley. I like his style. And worst dressed, trying to think. Worst dressed, I'll go James Morton. Best and worst trainer. Best trainers, could be a few words for best trainer. Oh, no, Hassan. Worst trainer, that's a horrible one. Worst trainer, I don't know who's worst trainer. But I'll just leave it at that because don't want to upset anyone. Worst playlist. That's the team DJ. His is good. The worst, I don't know. I ain't heard many players. Just a guess. I'm gonna say the worst playlist would be. We'll go Oli Coker. Team Joker, there's a few. Gus, Macca. I give it to Macca, to be fair. He does make me laugh a lot. Who's always late? Colin, has to be Colin. Most intelligent? Most intelligent? I'll go give it to Skip. He's wise. Who needs help? Who needs help? Harry Taylor needs help. Who pays the most attention to themselves in the mirror? Charlie Kendall, I reckon. What's the most creative excuse you've heard for missing training? Most creative excuse I've heard for missing training? I don't know. I really don't know. Probably. I'll tell you what, Harry come in late once and he said his dogs were fighting, so we'll give him that. Who was the best training ground skills, Daz or Benno? Oh, definitely Daz. 100%. He's got some skills in the locker. All good?
Okay, apologise for a bit of the sound there. It was a particularly windy day with a name like George Wind. What do you expect? So can't do a lot about that. Hopefully you picked it up. Yeah, he mentioned dogs again. Harry Taylor, I'm definitely going to get to the bottom of this with his dogs. Do smell a rat there. Do smell a rat. Okay, coming up next, Borehamwood away tomorrow. I've got a short interview with Pip. And then we're going to dissect that a bit more. Have a look at that. Pip, welcome back. Quick break there. We're going to discuss Boreham next, Tuesday. It's my birthday, actually, so I'm hoping it's going to be a good one.
It better be now.
It's a potentially tricky game.
Potentially tricky, yes, and potentially we might see the ball more in play than we have in recent seasons. I think there was a record a couple of seasons ago where it was out for like half an hour of the game. And
I was going to mention that to you, yeah.
I think I remember we lost. I think that game, and it was just such a horrible defeat to have. But now it's your birthday.
It was.
We're going to be positive now. We've got to get a win. We're going to talk positivity now, and if we win, we know who to celebrate with straight away.
Well, on a positive, I do remember that game, first game of the season. I think they went down to 10 men or even maybe 9 men. But the ball wasn't in play for something like 26 minutes. Ridiculous. Luke Gerrard played every trick in the book, and they ground out a 1-0 win. I'm glad to say they have changed the style of football under Gerrard. He's back. They're playing, they are playing a lot better style of football, which might suit us actually. Boreham's got a beautiful pitch, could suit our style of football. But they are going really, really well this season. I think up into fourth, doing extremely well. And it could be another potential banana skin.
Yeah, honestly, could be 100%. You look at what Scunthorpe did to us this week and you go, well, Borehamwood are up there as well. Again, another team just promoted under Luke Gerrard. You alluded to his dark arts before that he has within football, within Borehamwood. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does that again to really slow the game down for Blues. But this is where I think we, as a club, and Kev, Darren and Mark, have got a big decision to make and go, do we stick with the same formula we're going with, or do we go twist and let's go, right, let's go do this instead? And I want to lean towards doing something just a little different. I'm not saying overhaul the whole thing. Just, be a bit fresh with ideas. Go maybe 4 at the back like we alluded to a minute ago, or just maybe be a bit more direct. Have 3 up top. 3 up top would be magical against Borehamwood. Just put them under the pressure like teams have been doing to us. Just go and put it back on them a little bit. If they're going to be using the dark arts, why not? Let's just be a bit more creative.
4 at the back might be the way to go. I mean, Kev doesn't like to change from that 3 too much. We haven't seen it too much in the past. But, for me, obviously we've got 3 big players out at the moment. Gus, Noor is pretty much gone for the season, and Kendall. But like I said earlier, our foundation is having a strong defence. But at the moment we are a bit vulnerable. And I've got to say, without digging out George Wynn too much, I don't think he's a right wing back. He's more of a right back. And
Agreed.
I just think having him in that system, he's getting exposed. He's not played many games. He's not particularly match fit. That's none of that is his fault. But playing a 3-5-2, and a good pal of mine, Zach Brunt, he loves to put the ball in behind first time, and he'll be looking to do that. I think with a back 4 might actually. I haven't. I'll be digging him out if he scores on Tuesday. I'll tell you that. We've got a couple of old boys actually. Matt Rush is going really, really well.
Yep.
John Benton is still there as well.
Oh, wow.
So there's a few boys that'll be looking to settle some scores against us. It does make me wonder what sort of shape we will start with. Can you see what sort of personnel do you think Kev will go with? Do you think he'll make any changes, or do you think he'll go with the same?
Yeah, you said it a minute ago perfectly, where Kev does not like change, does he? He likes his players to play the formation he likes to play. But I think now we're at a point, well, if we're not at that point, when are we at that point? But something needs to be adapted now. And I'd cry for a personnel change, not an overhaul, but like you said, I completely forgot about Zach Brunt, by the way. How Borehamwood would have got him back is absolutely insane. I would have been for him in the summer as well, but fair play, they've got him and he is doing bits for them. John Benton, like you said, Matt Rush, they've all got scores to settle, so I would like, if it was up to me, I'd give Hayes a go just for this game, just to give Colin a bit of time out of the spotlight, a bit of out of the pressure, just give him a break. You've got big Nick Hayes. I would say you need someone who's a bit of a master of the dark arts, and Hayes, we know, he'll sit in the back corner of that box, dive down, hold the ball if you're 1-0 up. In the middle, I'd like to maybe see a bit of hardened experience, just a little bit more. Dare I say, and this is a really big undercall, what do people think of putting Adam Crowther as a centre defensive mid? What do people think?
Yeah, it's an interesting call.
At centre-back, I feel, he gets run past too easy. But if you put him in the middle, in front of that defence, could he just be a bit of a hard nut that we need in there? Potentially. Because otherwise, I can't see a middle link that's going to be willing to take a yellow or just get in people's faces a bit. And we miss a bit of that at times.
Yeah.
I'd love to see three again. Three up top, Walker, Dallas, and anyone on the right. Just get going at them. Borehamwood are going to know we're going to do our possession, passive, flowing play. Why not just switch up? So catch them on the break a bit, go full onto them, and just see what happens.
It's an interesting callback, Crowther, because, what it would also do is give you an extra man defending corners, and also he is a threat in the box at the other end, actually. It's a very interesting call, that one. I don't know whether Kev will do that, whether he's match fit enough, but at what point does Crowther get a chance? You know, like Windy he's now getting a couple of games. But certainly he's got to do something because, you know, for me, Miley, I love Cav Miley, but I think he can't last 90 minutes. There's always a yellow card in him. And certainly in that midfield, something's missing at the minute.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Milo, he looks like a shadow of his former self. And especially after he gets a yellow card, he's nullified for the game. If it's in the first 10 minutes, you're basically down to 10 men. And in that midfield, it's vital we have all players firing on guns, and just want to win the ball. And if Miley's on a yellow, he's restricted. So to maybe, like I said, put Crowther in there, maybe it could work. If he gets a yellow, we're in the same situation, perhaps. But maybe it might work. Like you said, it needs a change. And like you said, Windy, he's getting game time. Yes, he's not exactly match fit. We can all see that, especially from yesterday and at Eastleigh. But that will come with time and games and all that. And the same can happen for Crowther. He could cut through if he did come in on Tuesday night. He could play out with skin. Who knows? He might even do better than Miley did these last two games. It's worth a risk almost, I feel. Yes, he's got a mistake in him, but every player has. No one's perfect.
What's your opinion about the front line? I mean, mentioned Dallas. He's been fantastic for us. One thing that worries me is, other clubs are seeing him suddenly scoring goals. He's at a good age. Clubs might be calling Barnsley and saying, actually, we fancy taking him in January. We go on a bad run. He's then thinking, this is not great for me. Suddenly we lose him like we did Cardwell. We're left with Hopper and Walker. At the moment, for me, they're just not doing it.
No, they're not, are they? And they have that EFL pedigree, and they can score goals. You saw Hopper on his first time round here. He was amazing. Josh Walker at Dagenham, he was a problem maker. He always caused problems. But is it down to Kev and the tactics? Maybe it is, because dare I say, I would have Walker on the wing. I'd have him on the wing, diving in and out of the box, causing problems with wide men. But Kev likes to stick him central, and I honestly don't believe it suits his style of play as much as he could be open on the wide, ready to cross in or ready to chop in, and make a chance happen. Hopper, we need a target, man. We're crying out for it, and Hopper is not living up to that hype. He could easily be that target man, but again, I feel the situation he's put in by Kev is not paying off. He just needs a change up front, like I've been saying for the last episode. He's actually getting a bit frustrated in all of it because it is so easily doable, but you just need to give it a chance. You just need to take a risk, and I feel Tuesday night we need to take that risk.
Is it time to give Sparzov a start?
Ooh, yes. I would like Slavy up top. Now you mentioned that. I just said Hopper isn't soon. So I always thought Slavy wasn't as big as he looks, but then when he came on yesterday against those big Scunthorpe centres, he's a decent-sized bloke, to be fair. He's quite tall, quite not stocky, but a big centre forward, which is what you want up top. And I said, give him a role. He scored loads in the league below. He's not had much of a chance. He started versus Wealdstone. Okay, he scored a very, very iffy goal. But nonetheless, it's a goal. You take and you move on. It's more than Hopper's got.
I called it.
The Thunderbolt. Oh, dear, yeah. I've got on the golden season thread, that one. But still, give him a go again. Yeah, why not? He scored. He knows where the net is. He scored for fun last season. Just give it a go. And Borehamwood, he came from the same league as them. He might know a thing or two. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so Pip, let's get a prediction from you. We like to do predictions.
Against Luke Gerard's Dark Arts team. Ooh.
Yeah.
If we change it, I would like to say a 1-0 win. I don't think we're going to score many. We're not going to go and win 4-0. So I'd like to say a 1-0 win.
No.
If it's the same old tactics, same old formation, 1-1 maybe at best. I don't think it'll be a big scoring game. Both teams will be looking to play it safe almost to get the win. So low scoring game. Maybe we can just nick it if we wisen up a bit at the back.
Well, I'm gonna go 2-1. I need to back us for a win. We need a reaction. So if the boys are listening, we need a reaction. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1. Sparzov and Crowther. There you go. The two guys we've brought in. Hey, there'd be some money on that, wouldn't there?
Oh, I'll put that on now.
Rich man if that came in. Yeah. So yeah. So let's see. Hopefully we're next time we speak. Hopefully we've turned things around and we're heading in the right direction again. Before we finish, let's talk about the Football Content Award. So going good for you again. Finalist.
Yeah, again. Yeah, I'm well.
2 categories. Tell us about them.
2 categories. Yeah, I know. I got that email through the other day, and I was just thinking I'm just going to be in, the best in non-league. As I've been there for 4 times now, 4 seasons. I've been in that category, and just thought, oh, okay, that's great. And then it says, congratulations, you're in best in non-league. And then there's a little pause in the email, goes, and I'm like, hold on a minute, what do you mean, and? Why am I in more? And no, it's quite a mouthful. Equality, diversity, and inclusion awards. It's quite a mouthful to say that is, but nonetheless, they're both as important to me as ever. If anyone wants to have a look, read about them. They're on the FCA website, and there's a little piece about me and everyone else who's in the categories. It's an amazing category to be in as well, the equality one, just because it feels a bit more special to be involving people from all different backgrounds, all over the place. Involved. It feels a bit more personal to me, and that's not to say I don't want to win. Obviously, there's a bit of a selfish side to me that says I want to win, but at the end of the day, I'm happy just to be a 4-time finalist because of all you lovely people.
We got to win something this season.
Do you know what? You know what? The Southend won an award every year at these FCAs, and it's me, the Shrimp Trust, and the club who are going up for some awards. So there's a chance for one of us to bring something home, and not to maybe be a bit selfish again, but maybe it's my time. But we'll see. It needs votes, it needs support, and we'll just see what happens. I'm happy to be a 4-time finalist nonetheless. It's the night that's important. It's the general mixing with content creators, and no, I'm just happy being me, sticking my face in front of a camera at a football game looking like a weirdo. But hey, that's me. That's just me.
Pip, absolutely love your channel and your content. Brilliant stuff. Keep it going. It gets us through some dark times. But yeah, guys, please vote. Please get your votes in for Pip. Let's get him that gold this year. That'd be fantastic. So thank you so much. Pip, thanks for coming on, and hopefully we'll get a decent result on Tuesday.
Thank you, Phil, and best of luck for the boys on Tuesday. Come on, you Blues! Come on, you Blues!
Yeah, that was Pip. What a brilliant guy. It's always great to hear from him. And yeah, we wish him the best of luck with the awards. Listen, we've seen on social media and we've heard, from so many people, different variations on what the lineup should be tomorrow, what the personnel might be. I'm really intrigued to see what the lineup is and the formation, if it's adapted and what the response is. Emily, he mentioned Adam Crowther at defensive centre midfield. What do you think on that? It's an interesting question.
It's a bit of a rogue shout, that one, isn't it? But look, it's something's got to be changed from the last starting 11 in the last couple of games. Something's clearly not working. Is it maybe complacency now that we've had some big injuries coming in? We know that people are maybe sitting there thinking, oh, here's my chance. No one's going to come and take my spot now because everyone's injured. Is it that? Potentially. But as I said earlier, that's why I've got the squad depth. Can we give people a go in different places? Something's not working, something's not clicking like it was at the start. So why not?
So this is what we know about Boreham, or what I know. Matt Rush is on great form. Obviously we moved him on, Finn. He's got 5 in 11 this season. Last year he got 15 in 26. So he's very confident at the minute. We know that if Boreham get an early goal, they're really good at the dark arts, grinding the result out. Chris Bush is a player with an unbelievably long throw. So that is another weapon. I think that's how they got their goal on Saturday, actually. Long throw that was knocked on and Rushy tapped it in. Zach Brunt, who I know well, I've mentioned that. He loves to hit first-time balls in behind the full-backs or the wing-backs. My worry is if Wind is playing, and we're playing a 3-5-2, and he's out of position, Brunty will expose that, and suddenly they are in. And they have got a player, I don't know if you've seen him, called Abdul Malik, 22-year-old. They picked up from Millwall, I think, last year, former England under-17. He's got such quick feet. He's really, really dangerous. If Brunty finds him, gets him behind, we could be in a bit of problem there. What are you thinking, Finn?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think just on the lineup quickly, what we were just talking about just a moment ago, with Pip's shout for Crowther at centre defence midfield. To be honest, I'm not totally against it. I think now is the time that we need to start thinking about doing things like that. Weirdly, I actually said the other day that I think Gubbins would make a good defensive midfielder. Quite similar, which is a bit strange. I do get the shout because I think we're really lacking in that defensive midfield spot. As much as I love Cadmini, I don't think he's really cutting it just at the moment. And I don't really see who we could put in there, if I'm completely honest, who would fill that spot. So maybe it's time to start looking at defenders, if they can do the job there. And I think, personally, I think Gubbins more than Crowther, but I think either, it's an interesting conversation, but I think Gubbins has the passing abilities to drive play forward and defensive ability. On Borehamwood, yeah, I am a little bit worried for the game, I'll be honest. It's not really a nice place to go. As you said, they're really, really good at with Brunt playing the balls forward, and they've got some really good players in there. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really tough game. It's not going to be easy to score against their keeper, as I said earlier. And we know quite a few of their players, and we know how good they are. So it's going to be a tough game. I never really liked playing Borehamwood, to be honest.
Now, obviously, we talked about the striking department. As a former striker, I know that you go through spells of scoring goals, not scoring goals. You contribute if you're not scoring goals. That is something we can always sort out. The back, I think generally we've got a decent defence. We're just making stupid errors at the moment. So if we cut those out, but one thing is a problem is that Hussein's missing from that position. That's going to be a problem we're going to have to solve. And we've mentioned Crowther now, we've mentioned Gubbins. I have some other thoughts. I don't know what you think. I'm going to run it by you. This is the master plan. Let's see. Personally, I would do is go, and I don't think Kev will do it, but I would, for this game, go 4-4-2. And the reason I say that, 4-4-2, and I would say Wind at right back, because for me, he's not a wing back. And if we play him at the wing back, he's going to get exposed, definitely by Abdul Malik, who will tear him apart. I would go Goody. I would go Gubbins for the left side, and I would go Ralphie. So that would be my back four. I would then employ a diamond. At the spine of that diamond, I would have Harry Taylor. We know he's played there before, and we're not saying this is a long-term solution. It's just tactical solution to nullify, their dangers from Boreham. I would have Boise on the left, and I would have Keenan on the right. Because then you've got pace going back with the forwards. You've got protection for both Ralph and Windy when Boreham are on the ball, when they're off the ball. That's when the diamond changes. And I would have then Coker in the number 10 position. We're playing him a lot deeper where I'm not saying he can't play there, but it's not his most effective position. Coker, if you look at him, he's got a great strike from range. He likes to operate around those areas. He was very close with a free kick on Saturday. Went very, very close. I would play him there. And then up front, you'd have Dallas. And I would give Sparsov a go. Why not throw him in? And that would leave, the likes of Austin, Walker, Leon and Bridgie as offensive players to bring on if we need. I don't know. What do you think? Kev's paid to be the manager, not me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think one thing's for sure. The attacking partnership of Dallas and Hopper, I don't think it works. I think we need to, obviously Dallas needs to be in the team, but I think we need to see somebody else. And I do think Spazov would be a good option. It's interesting, the shout of putting Harry Taylor at defensive midfield. As you say, probably not like a permanent solution. Temporarily, while we're trying to navigate things like Hussein being out and various injuries, which, by the way, I think I do in a way really feel sorry for Kev, if I'm completely honest, because you take three players that are that have that much quality and that are that important to the team. All three of those players are really crucial to how we play. Hussein, we've seen how much our defence has struggled, and then you take out Kendall and Gus, and you see how much the attack struggled. I do feel for him because if you look at any other team and you take three players that are that crucial to start an 11 out, I think any of them are going to struggle. And particularly with the games we've had, going away to Eastleigh, I don't think Eastleigh are the greatest of sides, but going there on a Wednesday night away game, that's quite a tough game going to any team's ground, and particularly there. Scunthorpe, a team on really, really good form. Now we've got Borehamwood. It's just been a bit difficult, if I'm completely honest. So I do feel from in a way. I get the criticisms when it comes to things like lineups and substitutions. I think against Eastleigh in particular, that we should have seen a lot more substitutions before the 82nd minute, because things just weren't working. I don't necessarily agree with the lineup either against Scunthorpe, but I thought I'd add that in. I do feel a little bit sorry for them because three pretty big injuries. What your formation you came up with? I would go with that.
You're right. I mean, tomorrow you take it. Say we've got Kendall starting, we've got Hussein, we've got Gussie, we've got our strongest team out. If you take out Brunt, you take out Rush, and you take out the goalkeeper for Boreham that you mentioned, it's a different game, isn't it? So take out three players of your spine for any team. He's gonna rip you like it has done for us before with Ollie Kensdale and Cardwell. So yeah, it is difficult. Yeah, players have got to step up as well. It has to be said. But yeah, we will see. So do you think Kev will? I mean, he likes his three at the back. Do you think he'll roll with it, or do you think he'll change?
I personally, I think he'll probably stick with the three at back. I think he's been quite not in necessarily a negative way, but quite stubborn about his formation. I don't see him personally wanting to change. And I think maybe based on how we've been defensively recently as well, maybe he would argue that you need an extra player in there, but something's not working, and I think we need to change things up. I would be in favour of four at the back, but it's really difficult. And one thing's for sure, the lineup can't be the same as Scunthorpe. You've got to change it up, and you've got to change up. Yeah, unfortunately for Hopper, you've got to change that position, in my opinion. And even Cav Miley as well. As much as I love Cav Miley, I don't think those two should be starting. If I'm brutally honest, and it's time we make brutal decisions.
Tough job he's got, but that is the job.
Yep, it's definitely a tough job.
Let's get some predictions. So I've already said I'm going to go for a 2-1 win because I think we need a win. Emily?
Yeah, I think I'd like seeing Bank up as a 4. We just seem to leak in goals for fun at the minute. A little bit more protection, I think, is going to go a long way. I'm going to go for a score draw. I'm going to go for 1-1. I don't think it's going to be flush with goals. I think once Boreham would score, quite stubborn, they're quite hard to break down. I think if we're going to get anything from the game, we need to score early and stop them from scoring early. So yeah, score draw for me, 1-1.
Finn, what about you?
See, I've been quite set on like a 2-2 draw, but I now that I'm here, I don't know why, I've got 2 more scores in my mind, so I need to kind of pick between 3 here. Yeah. So, part of me wants to say 3-3 draw, which feels quite bold. And then I was considering 3-1 win. I'm all over the place for this one. I really have no idea. I'm going to go positive. I'll go for a 3-1 win. I'll go for it.
Well, as I mentioned, it's my birthday tomorrow, so that would be great. I would love a 3-1 win. Yeah, that would be fantastic. 3-3 draw would be entertaining, but yeah, I'm not sure my health would be good for my health. But yeah, listen, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, that is the end of the show. We're going to end on, I just want to read out, I just saw something on Shrimp Zone before we come on air. I thought it'd be great to finish with. This is from someone called Malaysian Shrimpers. And he said, just watched Harry Boy's interview and his words about SUFC being my club and his loyalty really hit home. As an expat, I feel the same way. It's tempting to support clubs like Arsenal, Manchester or Liverpool, but nothing beats the raw passion of Roots Hall or the unforgettable Wembley experience. It solidified my love for SUFC. Keep the faith, hoping for a win tomorrow. Isn't that great? What a great message and a great way to end. We're back next week, same time. We'll have reaction from Boreham and Aldershot. We also look ahead to the FA Cup. So what's left to say is thank you to my co-hosts, Emily and Finn. Also for Pip, please vote for diversity for the Contents Awards, the Shrimpers Trust and the club. And thank you for the... Yes.
Bill, I don't know if you're about to say it, but I wanted to cut in before you, if you end it. How many Oasis references? Because I've been noting it down. So I hope I've got this right, but I'm a little bit nervous that I've missed one or two.
I will message you after, let you know.
Okay. That sounds good.
Keep it silent from the listeners because I want to see what they.
Should I say how many I've given, just to see if people at
home go on.
Maybe matched up with me? I've counted. I've kind of done it in a tally, so I did it quickly, so it didn't look like I was. I've counted 8. So
maybe.
We'll see. Oh no, I'm not.
You don't know either one. Let's see.
I'm
not adding that one.
But I have got a different answer to you, Finn.
Oh no.
I'm gonna keep it hush. I can't give the listeners any ideas.
Well, I'm going to count up after, and I will let you know later by text. Okay. And then obviously keep that quiet because we're going to put it out on the socials and see what the fans come up with. And someone's going to win a book, so don't forget, have a go at that. So, yeah, finally, thank you to our sponsors, Surgical Holdings, and our listeners. Hope you've enjoyed the show and hope for a win tomorrow. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And up the Shrimpers.